now. I managed to figure out that I wanted to do a documentary. This will involve a church in Swansea and will show off my videography skills. I love to watch historical documentaries. This is why I want to pursue this idea. I like the visual aspect of media, which I've learned through my level 3 creative media course, which I will incorporate into this piece. And I will be challenging myself as I haven't done a documentary before. I invested in a camera lens, my Sony Alpha Gamma recently, which I can use for this project. Okie dokes. The documentary I'm planning on creating will focus on the past and present experiences / structure. Cornerstone. Do you know people in Cornerstone?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me just have a check. I know people in Cornerstone, but I just want to check. Cornerstone is quite a common name for a church, really.
It's in Morriston.
And I'm pretty sure it's the one in Morriston that I'm thinking of.
I changed my project proposal about 3 times because I was looking at different planning permissions for the churches and 2 of them didn't work out. But this one I've actually been to, and my friend goes there.
And they're all...
Yeah, and she said her mum can sort it out for me.
Cool. Brill.
Venue 2.
Say again?
Venue 2, it's called. Yeah.
Oh! I've been there. Yeah, right. Venue 2. I know exactly where it is. Cornerstone, sorry. Yeah, no, that's great. Cool. Who do you know there?
Hannah Leach.
Don't know Hannah. Okay, cool. Is she your age?
Yeah.
Cool. I probably wouldn't. Yeah. It is. Okay, that's the wrong one. Where's yours? Right, let's just open it again. Right, okay, so you're doing documentary. The documentary I'm planning on creating will focus on the past and present experiences. To begin with, I'll be researching the history of this church to gain knowledge and understanding so I can connect with the members more. I've begun reaching out to people for information about the church, especially in terms of getting permission to film. The documentary will be in chronological order in terms of history. I'll use modern day shots alongside found footage to add to the context more. I will make sure let me just highlight something for later. I'll make sure to use a variety of different camera shot types to show off everything I've learned through doing my creative media course. I'll also include testing in my sprints, which are weekly mini projects. I'm trying to include both close-up and medium shots, along with long shots to get variety. Okay. I'm hoping to interview people with different stories to keep the audience engaged. I hope my documentary. Okay. So, what brought you to do it on Cornerstone out of interest, just to get my head around it and to give you...
So I was thinking more locally, so I looked into 2 churches before, but they were very much like Welsh language led, which I thought I'd struggle with.
Is Bondealim Welsh language led?
Yeah, mainly, and also Gopper Church. So I looked more at other churches then, and then I realised I've actually been to this church, so I've experienced that, and I know it's a very tight-knit community there, and they'd be very open to telling their experiences.
Did you go to their youth group?
No.
No. Cool. Great. So you're focusing on basically the story of Cornerstone, essentially.
Yeah.
The story of Cornerstone and its people, because it used to be in another location years before they bought Venue 2. In fact, I was there in a service not long ago, and I think it must have been their something year anniversary since they moved in, and they were telling stories of it. So that's cool. Found footage. Why do you need found footage?
It was just to add more to the context, but then at the same time, if I do have enough when I go there and record, then I won't need that found footage. It's just kind of as a extra thing, like as a...
I think that should be a contingency. All I'm thinking for year 2 FMP, I think we need to be at a position where you're getting the majority. You could ask just on the edge of the A something, because I was thinking drone shots of it could be nice.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So that would be... Now, drone shots of it when people are arriving on a Sunday morning would be quite cool.
Yeah, I was going to put that in, but I didn't know how I'd go about doing that, so I didn't as of yet.
I can... Really, we don't let anyone take out the drone without a member of staff.
Yeah.
If it's organised a week or 2 in advance, I'm happy to turn up to Cornerstone with you. As long as you get permission from them beforehand,
Yeah.
I'm happy to turn up to Cornerstone with you and all I'll do is I'll kind of give you the control, maybe help you because you'll be like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And I'll be there as a staff member. We have to, when we're flying drones, there has to be a staff member there.
Okay.
What would be an idea if you wanted to get that is, and this is hilarious, my church want me to do drone shots of the kind of church and everything of people arriving, and I haven't even done that yet. But what I think would be an idea is if you were to do drone shots of people arriving, because that makes sense,
Yeah.
is go there a day or two before when the car park's empty, when it's quiet,
Okay.
and almost basically do a mini storyboard in the sense of fly the drone up with me or somebody else and kind of think, oh, what shot would look good then? And you can kind of put the drone, rather than turning up and thinking, people are turning up, oh, just send it up and improvise.
Yeah.
It would be, you definitely actually have to go there a few days before just to send it up and see what looks good, what angles and stuff like that.
Okay.
Drone shots would be really cool. There's a guy in Cornerstone, somebody my age, that does, because they've, I don't know when you were last there, but they do because they do the live streaming. They've got like camera setups
Yeah,
now.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And there's a guy there who grew up with me, and he's really into his kind of, he's an actor, but he's really into his like filming, and you don't know, he's just got married to somebody in that church, Sam Jennings.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah, I've only been to I think 5 different services, but I know Hannah's done a lot of the camera operating and stuff. That's why my head went to there. Like, 'cause
Okay.
they've already got equipment there.
Yeah. Cool. So it's going to be, I imagine it'll be relatively interview led
Yeah.
to find out the history. I imagine B-roll of the service would probably be relatively essential. If you're having B-roll, it'd be of the service, and they've got kind of a nice sort of light in there as well, kind of like getting some nice depth of field shots. Arguably using their cameras because they obviously, like I said, record the service.
Yeah.
What would be a nice shot, and you'd obviously have to work with them on this. Have you seen our smallest drones like that big?
No.
You can fly it, and you're allowed to. You can fly it through like doorways, and it can be a bit tricky. But it would be cool if you could almost like have it kind of flying into the church and kind of you turn right, I think, to the main hall, don't you, and fly it through there. Obviously, if there's people around, that's a nightmare, but it's just something to think about. Okay, so do you know who from that church you're going to interview?
Not yet. No.
Okay, I think that'll be a little bit of research for you.
Yeah.
Even if you're having a email conversation or a conversation like this with somebody, I think before you put your questions together, you as a documentarian need to have an understanding of the history rather than just going in there and say, oh, tell me how it was founded, all of this. I think you need a relatively good idea on the history of it, so you know what questions to ask and you know how to steer it. So you'll almost have a narrative in your head, and that'll help you kind of drive it. Does that make sense?
I have a question. You know, I'm doing this church now, but in the past I was emailing people about filming at the other locations. So could I still include that even though I'm doing a different church now?
Oh yeah, definitely. Put that in your reflective log in terms of, I've tried here, you get marked on problem solving. I tried here, it didn't work. I've tried another one, that didn't work. I've tried this third one, it works.
Yeah.
You'd be daft not to put that in because it's absolute problem solving.
Okay.
And that would fit in your reflective log. Apparently it's time for me to stand up. So yeah, be cool. I wonder what their old, it would be interesting. They did have an old venue before Venue 2 was Venue 1. That's why I think they called it Venue 2. So it would be interesting to find out where the previous one was and get some shots of that. So when Joe Bloggs is talking, so in 2012 we moved from, and then B-roll of it comes up to here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for you in terms of research?
I'm going to finish off my semiotics and then move on to technical research, so camera, microphones. Yeah.
I think conventions of documentary will be a good one. I've just watched a docudrama, which was quite good. Have you heard of a docudrama?
Yeah.
Cool, so it's like intercut with. So I think looking at conventions of documentary is going to be really key, because when you storyboard out and kind of figure out, obviously you can't storyboard from start to finish a documentary, because you'll have, I know I want shots of this, but if somebody says something like, and you're like, oh, that's really interesting, it may change your storyboard slightly, so it's a little bit flexible. But you'll need, I can't remember where I was going with that. Yeah, you'll need to understand the conventions of documentary as well. So now that you're fortunate enough to have all the audio in yours, I'll send it to you. I think what you should do in the immediateness of going back to your seat now, reflective log entry, spoke with John, this is what we talked about, this is what I'm going to do moving forward. Remember Gibbs, this is how I feel about it. I disagreed with him when he said that, or I thought that was a really good idea. He's on board with the drone shots and he's happy to help, which makes me really happy and excited, and I'm that kind of stuff. So I'll stop recording.